Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the FUNimation dub of episode 106 of Dragonball Super. We begin this episode with Goku taking Master Roshi to a secluded part of the arena so that the Turtle Hermit can rest. Goku then uses instant transmission to continue fighting in the tournament elsewhere after Roshi assures Goku that he'll be okay for the time being. Meanwhile, we see Gohan and Piccolo are confronted by the humanoid boar from the Universe 6 team. The humanoid boar, voiced by Rico Bonnet, reveals his name to be Dr. Rota, and he tells Gohan and Piccolo that they will quickly find out why he was given the title of Doctor. But before Dr. Rota can reveal what his ability is, he's suddenly knocked out by an energy blast. Gohan and Piccolo are able to avoid more of these energy blasts, and they eventually find a hiding spot. Piccolo says that this particular energy blast is very similar to his special beam cannon, and Gohan admits that the energy blast is very accurate. Piccolo says that he can't sense any energy signatures, which means they have to be very careful while they're traveling to a different location. We then see a red orb floating around part of the arena, and we quickly find out that this orb is being controlled by one of the fighters still participating in the tournament. We, the viewers, so far don't get a clear look at this fighter. We just see a close-up of this fighter's face. The close-up shows us one of the eyes of the fighter and a little bit of the face surrounding the eye, but that's all we, the viewers, see of the fighter so far. But in any case, this fighter is controlling an orb, and the orb eventually finds Gohan and Piccolo. Piccolo suggests to Gohan that they suppress their energy signatures and head towards some nearby rubble. But when they do head towards this nearby rubble, Piccolo loses an arm to another energy blast. We also see that we also see that the energy blast bounced off of multiple orbs before it eventually hit Piccolo's arm. Once Piccolo reaches the nearby rubble with Gohan, he is able to regenerate his arm, but Gohan does note that regenerating his arm came at the cost of some stamina. Piccolo then tells Gohan that they need to find the sniper's location quickly. We then get a better look at the fighter controlling the orbs. This fighter is a red humanoid blob, and he's a member of the Universe 2 team, by the way. So the humanoid blob launches more orbs throughout the arena, and Piccolo uses his stretching arms technique to encourage another energy blast to occur. We see that the energy blast hits the humanoid blob first, and after the energy blast hits the humanoid blob, it then travels through multiple orbs. So when this energy blast occurs, Gohan sees the direction that the energy blast came from. So Piccolo then tells Gohan that they should approach that location while suppressing their energy signatures. Gohan points out that there aren't many, if any, hiding spots on the way to that location, so they could be in trouble if more energy blasts occur. But Piccolo has a plan for that. So Gohan grabs a piece of rubble and he tosses it in the direction of the area that they're going to head towards, and then Piccolo destroys the piece of rubble with an energy blast. This creates a dust cloud, so Gohan and Piccolo plan to use the dust cloud to keep the element of surprise on their side. So traveling through the dust cloud, Gohan and Piccolo eventually reach the location that Gohan pointed out earlier, but they find an orb on the ground when they reach this location. Piccolo picks up the orb and he starts to piece together that the orb is how they're being tracked. Another orb then finds Gohan and Piccolo, and Gohan and Piccolo are almost hit with another energy blast, but they are able to avoid it. Piccolo then tosses the energy blast that he was holding, and it's destroyed. But before Piccolo tossed the or before Piccolo tossed the orb, but after the energy blast occurred, Piccolo noticed that the orb became hotter. And after Piccolo tosses the energy orb that he was holding, another energy blast heads in their direction. More specifically, this energy blast is closing in on Gohan. The Omnikings take notice in this particular fight occurring in the tournament right now, and the Grand Minister tells the Omnikings that a sniper is taking action. The Grand Minister also explains to the Omnikings what a sniper is. In the spectator seats, Krillin and Beerus both note how Gohan and Piccolo can't be reckless when they're traveling to a different location. They have to be careful when they travel in a different location because of the sniper. But at the same time, they can't actually defeat the sniper if they stay in one place. So Beerus comments about how Gohan and Piccolo are in a real pickle because of the predicament that they're in right now. Next up, we see Tien finding... Next up, we head to Tien, and he's found the unconscious Dr. Rhoda. And Tien figures out that a sniper is taking action. Goku and Vegeta then notice Tien, and they start to approach him. Tien warns them about the sniper, and it's a good thing Tien warns them when he did, because another energy blast heads towards them. But Goku, Vegeta, and Tien are all able to avoid this energy blast. Back in the dust cloud, we see that Piccolo defended Gohan from the energy blast. Piccolo lost both his arms from the energy blast, but he is able to regenerate both his arms afterwards. Piccolo then tells Gohan that he's now figured out that their body heat is how they're being tracked. So with this knowledge in mind, Gohan and Piccolo begin to use energy blasts to heat the rubble in order to cause confusion, and it works. The humanoid blob, voiced by Jim Ferranda, is confused by all the heat signatures, but then he decides that it won't really matter, or he quickly decides that it won't be much of a problem. And we then see that another energy blast hits the humanoid blob, and the humanoid blob reflects the energy blast in multiple directions. Gohan comments about how the confusion they caused has led to the energy blast being launched blindly now. Meanwhile, Goku, Vegeta, and Tien eventually Goku, Vegeta, and Tien find Gohan and Piccolo trying to avoid the energy blast that's being reflected in all sorts of different directions. Goku then notices the humanoid blob nearby, and he brings attention to this to Vegeta and Tien. Goku also pieces together that the humanoid blob is reflecting the energy blast for the sniper. Vegeta decides to charge towards the humanoid blob, and Tien encourages Goku to help Vegeta while Tien, helps Gohan and Piccolo. So Tien rushes towards Gohan and Piccolo to get them out of the area where the energy blast is being reflected in all sorts of different directions. And we see Goku and Vegeta both launch energy attacks towards the humanoid blob. Goku launches a Kamehameha, while Vegeta launches a Gallic Gun. So after that, Vegeta tries to launch another Gallic Gun, but this time the humanoid blob reflects the Gallic Gun, and he also says that he anticipated that they would go after him if their teammates were targeted. We then get to see who the sniper is. The sniper is a member of the Universe 2 team, and he essentially looks like a green humanoid alien with a beak. That's the best way I can think to describe the sniper's appearance. But yes, we see what the sniper looks like now, and the humanoid blob explains that he plays the role of observer and mirror for the sniper. Vegeta then tells Goku to fight the humanoid blob, while Vegeta, will take on the sniper. But the humanoid blob puts a stop to that by urging the sniper to launch another energy blast. We also find out that the sniper's name is Harmira. So we then see that Tien did succeed in getting Gohan and Piccolo out of the area where the energy blast was being reflected in multiple directions. So Gohan, Piccolo, and Tien are all safe now. Tien then sees Harmira he sees Harmira nearby, and he sees the strategy that Harmira employs. After Harmira launches an energy attack, Harmira heads to a different location to launch another energy blast, and so on and so forth. So Tien's figured out Harmira's strategy along with working with the humanoid blob, and Tien decides he's going to head towards where Harmira is. So Tien performs the multiform technique to split himself into four copies of himself, and he starts to head towards where Harmira is. And because Harmira changes location after launching an energy blast, you could say that Tien is chasing after Harmira. The Universe 7 divine beings are confused when they see the multiform technique. So Krillin explains the technique to them, but he also admits that there is a disadvantage with the multiform technique. The disadvantage is that the power and speed of the individual performing the technique is divided among the copies of the individual. So that's the main disadvantage of the multiform technique. So back with Goku and Vegeta, since they know that the humanoid blob will reflect energy blasts, they decide to fight him by throwing pieces of rubble towards him. So while Goku and Vegeta are fighting the humanoid blob by throwing rubble at him, we see Tien continuing to chase after Harmira. And Harmira is voiced by Kyle Ignazzi. So yes, Tien's chasing after Harmira. And Harmira destroys 3 copies, so Tien is left. The multiform technique has ended since there's only one Tien now. But Tien is close enough to Harmira where he can actually launch an attack towards Harmira. So Tien prepares a Neo Tri-Beam, and he hits Harmira with the Neo Tri-Beam. The Neo Tri-Beam injures Harmira's shoulders to the point where he can't lift his arms up. Tien prepares another Neo Tri-Beam, and he calls Harmira a worthy opponent. Now, even though Harmira can't lift his shoulders, or yes, Harmira can't lift his arms, but he can still launch energy blasts. So Harmira launches an energy blast to the ground, and this causes Tien to fall off the arena. And Harmira does call Tien a worthy opponent, too. But then we see that Tien managed to perform the multiform technique one more time. The 3 copies that Tien created grab Harmira, and they jump off the arena while holding onto Harmira. Tien says that he's not going to be eliminated from the tournament alone. Harmira will be eliminated too. The Grand Minister then declares that Tien and Harmira have both been eliminated from the Tournament of Power. So the Omni-Kings use their God Pads to tap on Tien and Harmira's images to signal that they've been eliminated from the tournament. Tien apologizes for his elimination, but Krillin assures Tien that he did well. And Beerus also praises Tien for being able to end his match with Harmira in a draw. The humanoid blob panics now that Harmira has been eliminated from the Tournament of Power, and this leads to Goku and Vegeta realizing that the humanoid blob doesn't have any offensive abilities of his own. But when the humanoid blob tries to run, he's stopped by Dr. Rhoda, who's regained consciousness. And Dr. Rhoda grabs the humanoid blob, saying he's going to resume his explanation about why he was given the title of Doctor. But before Dr. Rhoda has a chance to actually reveal his ability, Vegeta shouts, "Nobody cares!" and launches a Gallic gun towards both Dr. Rhoda and the humanoid blob, knocking them both off the arena. So, the Grand Minister declares that Dr. Rhoda and the humanoid blob, whose name is revealed to be Prom, have been eliminated from the Tournament of Power. So, the Omni-Kings use their God Pads to tap on Dr. Rhoda and Prom's images to signal that they've been eliminated. Goku is concerned about how Krillin and Tien were both eliminated from the tournament, but Vegeta responds that he, Vegeta, can eliminate the rest of their opponents by himself. Goku encourages Vegeta that they need to do their best for Krillin and Tien's sake. The narrator reveals that 32 minutes are left in the Tournament of Power, and that is how we end this episode. So, when the sub version of this episode first aired, I recall that some fans were not happy with this episode. I don't know if it was necessarily a lot of fans or or at least a vocal minority of fans, but some fans were not happy with this episode. And from what I was able to gather, the reason was because some fans were not really thrilled about how Tien was eliminated from the Tournament of Power. And yes, you could argue that this episode is supposed to be Tien's spotlight appearance in the Tournament of Power. And I do have to agree that I think Tien deserved a better spotlight appearance. Yes, I do agree that Tien deserved a better spotlight appearance. I do see where some fans are coming from when they say it feels like Tien is the member of the 7th Universe team who contributed the least throughout the Tournament of Power, or that Tien didn't get much screen time when compared to the rest of the 7th Universe team members. I can see where some fans are coming from, and I do agree that Tien deserved a better spotlight appearance. But when comparing the anime to the manga, or the manga if you prefer, I would have to say that I consider the anime to be the lesser evil compared to the manga. And this is similar to the deal with Krillin being eliminated from the Tournament of Power. I mentioned before that in the manga, Krillin was eliminated from the tournament without really getting to do anything at all. And that was the case with Tien too. In the manga, Tien was eliminated without getting a chance to do anything. So in the anime, Krillin and Tien both at least got to do something. We did get to see Krillin's spotlight appearance in the Tournament of Power a few episodes ago. And in Tien's case, we did see Tien working with Master Roshi to eliminate a Universe 3 fighter in an earlier episode. And in this episode, Tien did rescue Gohan and Piccolo when the energy blast from Harmira and Prom's teamwork was being reflected all over the place. And Tien did manage to eliminate Harmira, even though he was also eliminated. And it was also pretty heartwarming how Beerus, I did find it heartwarming how Beerus did show Tien respect, because Tien was able to eliminate Harmira from the tournament, even though he was also eliminated. And it's always heartwarming to see Universe 7's Destroyer show respect to the Z fighters besides Goku and Vegeta. So, yes, so overall, I would agree that Tien deserved a better spotlight appearance, but at the same time, I would say the anime is the lesser evil compared to the manga. I prefer the anime's take on Tien's elimination over the manga take, because at least Tien got to do anything at all in the anime. Same thing with Krillin. I think at least Krillin got to do something in the anime compared to the manga, where he was just eliminated without really getting a chance to do anything. And besides that, though, I do think that there were good points about this episode, and the sniper approach I thought was really clever. I did think that was clever how they decided to approach this episode with a sniper. And Harmira and Prom's teamwork was very effective. And I also thought it was pretty cool how Harmira and Prom were members of the Universe 2 team, like it was mentioned earlier, and in the episode itself, they were mentioned to be from the Universe 2 team. But yes, I thought it was cool how Harmira and Prom, or it was interesting, yes, I thought it was interesting how Harmira and Prom are characters that don't really reflect, I guess you could call it the main theme of the universe. Yes, you could argue that each of the universes have a main theme to them, and in the case of Universe 2, you could say that love is the main theme of Universe 2, and Harmira and Prom don't really demonstrate that theme. We know that the Maiden Squadron, or the Kamikaze Fireballs, really highlight the main theme of love for Universe 2, but the majority of the Universe 2 team members also got in on the whole main theme of love for Universe 2, because they made a big spectacle out of that ritual for the Maiden Squadron's transformation sequence. Harmira and Prom didn't participate in the ritual from what I recall, so yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting how Harmira and Prom, I thought that was interesting how Harmira and Prom don't reflect Universe 2's main theme of love. So I thought that was something worth pointing out. And besides Harmira and Prom, we do get to see other examples of teamwork in this episode. Gohan and Piccolo demonstrated a lot of teamwork in this episode, and Goku and Vegeta did too, like they did when they finished off the Universe 9 team. That's right. Yes. I thought that was yes. This was another example of how Goku and Vegeta actually are capable of teaming up, even though they usually prefer to fight by themselves. Well, more so Vegeta. Goku has more of a willingness to team up with others compared to Vegeta, but even Goku kind of does prefer to fight by himself, even if he is more willing to take part in teamwork compared to Vegeta. And yeah, I still thought it was pretty nice to see Goku and Vegeta working together. It highlights how Whis has brought up before that Goku and Vegeta would be very formidable if they were willing to work together more often. And yes, we did get to see them all working together too in different parts. All of them and Tien, they all worked together, and Tien was able to demonstrate teamwork with his team members by eliminating Harmira from the tournament. So we did get to see teamwork a lot in this episode, and I thought it was a nice touch how they showed teamwork in different ways in this episode. And the other big thing about this episode, at least for the Funimation dub, is Dr. Rhoda. Dr. Rhoda is one of the Universe 6 characters that wasn't part of the team for the Tournament of Destroyers. He joined the team for the Tournament of Power. And yeah, I thought Dr. Rhoda was a hilarious character, although I also was bummed out that we never got to find out why he has the title of Doctor or why he's or what his ability is. Even though Vegeta says nobody cares, I actually was interested in learning about that. And it was a shame Dr. Rhoda didn't really get a chance to shine per se, but I do think the joke was still funny. I hear that Dr. Rhoda has become really popular among fans. Or yeah, I hear there's a running joke in the fandom about Dr. Rhoda. So yeah, Dr. Rhoda has endeared himself to fans even if he didn't really get to have a chance to shine. And oh, for anyone who's curious, the manga at least says that Dr. Rhoda can perform magic. So I don't know if that's the ability in the anime, because the anime and the manga do have some notable differences between them. But at least in the manga, Dr. Rhoda has magic. I don't know if that's the case in the anime or not, but it's something at least. It's something. It gives us some insight on Dr. Rhoda, even if it might be more exclusive to the manga than the anime. But yes, back to why Dr. Rhoda is an interesting detail or a detail about Dr. Rhoda is interesting in the Funimation dub is because of his voice. Now, the credits say that Rico Bonnet voiced Dr. Rhoda, but many fans, myself included, immediately noticed that Rico Bonnet sounds a lot like Richard Horvitz. For those who might not be familiar, Richard Horvitz is a voice artist who's probably best known for playing Zim from Invader Zim, Billy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Daggett from The Angry Beavers. He was also Gray Matter and Subliminal in the original Ben 10 series. And he's also Chaz, Skippy, David, and Mr. Spokes from The Loud House. Those are a few examples of Richard Horvitz's voice work. But yes, Rico Bonnet his voice sounds like Richard Horvitz's voice. So this has led to some fans speculating that Rico Bonnet might be an alias for Richard Horvitz due to the whole union-non-union situation. And I do agree there's a chance that might be the case. Yes, this wouldn't be the first time when Dragon Ball Super had a character who was voiced by a voice artist who was using a pseudonym or an alias. This wouldn't be the first time Dragon Ball Super was voiced by had a character who was voiced by a voice artist who doesn't usually participate in. Or yes, this would not be the first time when Dragon Ball Super featured a voice artist in the Funimation dub who isn't really part of Funimation's usual pool of voice artists. I'm talking, of course, about Zamasu. In the Funimation dub, Zamasu is voiced by James Marsters, and James Marsters had to use the aliases of David Gray and Sam Magisters because of the whole union-non-union situation. So there's a possibility, I don't know for sure if it is the case, but there's a possibility that Richard Horvitz might be using the alias of Rico Bonnet in order to play a character in Dragon Ball Super, similar to how James Marsters used the aliases of David Gray and Sam Magisters to play Zamasu. Now, some fans have argued against this because they say James Marsters had a history with the Dragon Ball franchise, playing Piccolo in the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, and James Marsters is a fan of the Dragon Ball franchise. He became a fan of the franchise after playing Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution. On the other hand, though, some fans have argued that if Richard Horvitz is Rico Bonnet, then this wouldn't be the first time when this would not be the first time when a voice artist who isn't part of Funimation's usual pool of voice artists voiced a character in the Dragon Ball franchise without really having any past ties to the Dragon Ball franchise. The voice artist in question is none other than Peter Mayhew. Peter Mayhew is best known for playing Chewbacca from the Star Wars franchise. But yes, in the Dragon Ball GT TV special, A Hero's Legacy, the character Susha was voiced by Peter Mayhew, and Peter Mayhew doesn't really have much ties to the Dragon Ball. It's really what stood out that voiced a character in the Dragon Ball franchise. So yes, assuming that Richard Horvitz is Rico Bonnet, then this wouldn't be the first time that someone who didn't really have ties to the Dragon Ball franchise and isn't part of Funimation's usual pool of voice artists had participated in the Dragon Ball franchise. And there is also other evidence that, or there's clues, I should say. There's clues that suggest the possibility of it having merit. There's clues that suggest there's merit to the speculation. I should clarify that. Yes. So it's been brought up before. Yes, on Twitter, Dawn Bennett, the voice artist for Kale in the Funimation dub, had thanked Richard Horvitz because Richard Horvitz was a mentor to her in voiceovers. So yes, even though Richard Horvitz may not necessarily have ties to the Dragon Ball franchise beforehand, he does have ties with a voice artist from the Funimation dub, being the mentor of Dawn Bennett. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Richard Horvitz did get a role in Dragon Ball Super because of him being a mentor to Dawn Bennett. So I should also mention, another clue is that Richard Horvitz actually isn't a stranger to voicing characters in anime. He has provided voice work in English dubs of anime in the past. And another detail is about Rico Bonnet. I tried to look up Rico Bonnet shortly before I recorded this video, but I didn't find anything about a Rico Bonnet. So this gives me the impression that these details give me reason to believe that Rico Bonnet is an alias for Richard Horvitz. Again, I don't know if that is the case or not. I don't know for certain. This is just speculation, but I do think that there's merit to the speculation. I do think there's merit to the speculation that Rico Bonnet might be an alias for Richard Horvitz. And I should also mention, I'm also pretty confident that Rico Bonnet is an alias for Richard Horvitz, because Richard Horvitz has a very unique and distinct voice. So I'm not going to rule out the possibility that maybe Rico Bonnet is a guy who sounds very similar to, who happens to have a voice very similar to Richard Horvitz, but I do think it's more likely that Richard Horvitz is using an alias because he has a very unique and distinct voice. So yes, that's just speculation, but if it's true, assuming it is true, it would be cool that, I do think it's cool that Richard Horvitz would be part of the Dragon Ball franchise, if this is true, if Richard Horvitz is Rico Bonnet under an alias. So otherwise, I would say that might be about it for talking about this episode. So, like I said, with this episode, Tien has been eliminated from the Tournament of Power, and while I do agree Tien deserved a better spotlight appearance, I still think that the anime take of his elimination is preferable to the manga take on his elimination. And And I also did like the how teamwork was in play. Tien did show teamwork in this episode with some of his team members, and we also did get to see teamwork among Goku and Vegeta and Gohan and Piccolo. And of course, we saw teamwork between Harmira and Prom. And I do think, again, Harmira and Prom had a very effective strategy with their teamwork. And it was also interesting to see characters that didn't really highlight the main theme of the universe that they call home. And otherwise, yes, Dr. Rhoda I thought was a funny character, but I do admit that I wish we got to see more of Dr. Rhoda in action. I do wish that we got to learn his ability or why he's called a doctor. And again, assuming that Rico Bonnet is Richard Horvitz using an alias, I think that would be pretty cool that Richard Horvitz gets to be part of the Dragon Ball franchise, assuming that this is the case, assuming he is using an alias and playing Dr. Rhoda. But otherwise, yeah, I would say that's about it for now. So as of this video, we've now discussed the Funimation dub of episode 106 of Dragon Ball Super on this channel. Take care, and until next time.